Hey everybody, it's Jorik. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for your continued support. I truly appreciate it. Today I want to make a video because as I'm talking to a lot of people that are thinking about moving to Portugal and they want some consultation, more and more are looking to come to Portugal before they retire, or if they're retired, they're retiring early and they have kids. They have school age kids that are going to be somewhere from grade 1 to 12, and they're thinking about where they may go to school for anywhere from 1, 2, 3, 7, 10 years before they're headed to university. And they wanted to have some options out there. So I've just done a little bit of research here. I'm not going to make this a long drawn out video and name all of the international schools, but I wanted to let you know if you're going to be moving to Portugal, whether it be Porto or Lisbon, there are several options to choose from. So I don't want you to think that you can only go to, let's say, Lisbon because they're the only place with international schools. As I go through the map here and show you the list, there are a number of these schools available throughout the country. I'm going to put a link in the description that is just going to be the Google Maps search of Portugal when I type in international school, so you can look at this and then hone in on an area. So I'm going to start at the far north of the country. So let's say there's an opportunity for work or you're retiring north of Porto, and let's say you're in Braga or Guimarães area. There are a couple of international schools north of Porto, and there are several international businesses up there. So I think that's why that there's some schools in that area. And then as you look next, the next map is of Porto. There are a number of schools. There's a British school. There's the Oporto International School, amongst others. So if you are going to be settling in Porto, you're going to have numerous options to be able to choose from if you want to go the international school route. Now, one of the oldest universities in Europe is University of Coimbra. This is the next snapshot from Google Maps that shows a couple of schools here. So it kind of makes sense, university of town. There's a lot of professors from around the world that may teach here at this school, and they may want their kids before they get into the university level to have some schooling through an international school. So Coimbra has a couple of options. Also, if we're heading closer to the coast, so kind of the Silver Coastline and Nazaré, as you know from the big waves, there are more people from around the world that are looking to come to Portugal and move into the Silver Coast, which Peniche, Nazaré, Figueira da Foz, Caldas da Rainha, there are a number of communities in this part of the world. And as more international people are moving that have kids, they're looking at kind of an international school option versus a traditional school. So there are a couple of options here just outside of Nazaré. So if you're coming to the Silver Coast, you have a couple of options. You don't have to necessarily figure out how to get transportation into Lisbon or up to Porto. The main place is Lisbon, and as you can see here, there are numerous schools in red that show up, whether it be in the city center, which is kind of at the bottom right of this slide, and as you're moving west towards Cascais and Estoril, and even north of that above, you have Sintra, there's a British school, there's several international schools, there's the Irish International School, there's the St. John's School in Cascais, there's the Carlucci American International School, which is kind of in the Sintra area. So if you're coming to Lisbon, and because that being the capital, a lot of embassies here, a lot of consulates, a lot of the most amount of international people living within this community, it makes sense that there's going to be several schools. But as you can see, there are numerous options. And then lastly, I want to hit on south of Lisbon, which would be the Setúbal area. There are a couple of schools. There is the Seixal International School, and then there's the International School of Palmela. So if you are looking for property south of Lisbon, the Almada, Sesimbra, Setúbal, Palmela, even maybe as far as Évora, there are a couple of options as opposed to having to find transportation for your kids to get into Greater Lisbon. You can be outside on the southern side the city and be able to find a couple of options there. So again, the link is in the description. That's going to show you the Google map of all of Portugal with these schools. Please do some research and take a look at them. They're traditionally not cheap to go to, but they have a wide spectrum of options. So no two schools are alike, whether it comes to tuition, amenities, curriculum. So it's worth, as you're considering schools along with where to live for real estate and job or retirement, school is a big portion of that. And whenever you've lived, wherever you are in the world, finding a good school is very important. So as I was requested to look at some international schools, I wanted to be able to at least give you a head start here so you could start typing in these schools in a Google search and finding out what may work for you. So again, if you have kids and you're looking to move to Portugal, you do have options. As always, thank you so much for watching and enjoy your travels.